Yeah, hello everyone, and welcome back. So today we are going to discuss about the HCL Java profile interview question and answer for the second round. Yeah, so last lecture I discussed about the first round in HCL for Java profile. Yeah, so candidate has passed through that, and now he has recently shared me the interview questions for the second round. So let's go ahead and now let's discuss about the questions which he faced in SCL. Yeah, so he has total 3+ year of experience, but I believe this questions will be helpful for more than 5 to 6 year of experience also. Okay, so the first question he got was tell me about yourself, and the second question he said me that he has been asked that which Java version he has used in his project. So he mentioned about Java 8. So the next question interviewer asked was that what are the main features introduced in Java 8. So let me explain this. So you can also explain in the same manner, you can highlight the main features first, and of course the interviewer is going to ask the another question as per yeah as per the main features you will tell them. So the main features introduced in Java 8 is Lambda expression. Also there was introduced in the functional interface, also a stream API. Default, now default and static methods are introduced in interface. Earlier we don't have the default and static methods before Java 8, but with the Java 8 there are default and static methods can be added in the interfaces. And also there was some updation in the date and time API, basically java.time API. Okay, so also there was some support for the zone, the zone time and all. So earlier we need to add the logic for the time zones and the date zones, but now there is a library updated which you can use directly to handle the time zone. Okay, the another upgrade was regarding the optional classes. So optional classes was introduced for handling the null pointer exception and all. Okay, and there was some update in the futures and the parallel streams. Okay, so parallel streams was introduced to make your operation more faster, and another feature was introduced like method reference and all. So these are the features which are introduced in Java 8. Now I strongly believe that might be the interviewer will go with the next question among these features. So I will suggest you go through the every feature in a very detailed manner. Okay, so let me tell you the what questions he got uh, as the next question. So he got that can you explain about the lambda expression. Okay, so lambda expression is actually a short block of code which takes in the parameters and returns a value. So actually it is a way by which we can define a method. Now it has basically the three part. The first is the parameter. Okay, so this is so lambda expression is like something which does not have the method name, right? So first it takes the parameter, and then you have to add an arrow, and then you have to add the expression. So if you are in the expression, if you have a single line, okay, and you don't have much implementation logic for that particular method, then it is not required to add any curly braces. But if your expression is of multiple statements, then you need to add curly braces, and if required, if your method is returning means some value, then you can use return keyword. Otherwise it's fine if you don't use it. Okay, yeah, so totally depend on your requirement, but of course this is a syntax, means you have to use parameters, arrow, and then expression. Okay, so lambda expressions are used primarily to define the implementation of functional interface. So this is very important. As you define the interviewer about the lambda expression, then he may ask you that where you can use lambda expression. So basically the lambda expression can be used in the functional interface. So functional interface are nothing, it is introduced in Java 8 only, where only one like abstract method are there. If you are adding more than one abstract method, then that interface will not be called as functional interface. So interface, to become a functional interface, it can only have one abstract method. Okay. And of course there is yeah, and of course there is like annotation with the at the rate functional, okay, which can be used to make any interface as a functional. So when you add this annotation at the rate functional, then the compiler checks, and it checks and validate that that interface should have only one abstract method. So now you have one abstract method, right, for that particular interface. And if you are implementing that abstract method in the child class, then you need to override that abstract method, right? So this lambda expression can be used to provide the implementation of that particular abstract method which is there in the functional interface. Okay. So this is the about the lambda expression. Okay. Okay. So now like let me okay, so let me explain you through one code so that you will get a better understanding about this functional interface. I believe I have one. Yeah. So this is a class. Yeah. So this is like math operation interface. Okay. You see, in this interface, I have one abstract method with the name operate. Okay. And the integer is the return type, and it is taking the parameter as integer a and integer b. Now this is one more class. In that I have a main method. Now what I am doing, I am trying to override this operate method. Okay. I am trying to override this operate method. Yeah. So actually what I am doing, I have one like math operation, okay, interface, and this is the instance of this math operation interface, right? In this I am implementing with a lambda expression. So here you see, this is just an expression which I have just shown you in the ppt, and this is the arrow, and this is the expression. So this is single line expression, so that's why there is no like curly braces added. But yeah, so it is simply doing a plus b. Okay. And again in the subtract like reference, it is doing a minus b. In the multiple it is a multiple line of expression. So here we have used here we have used the curly braces, and also we are returning, okay, a into b, right? And we are doing system. Yeah, so this is the way we can define a lambda expression. And this is divide, where we are dividing a minus a slash b, right? Now if I want to do system.out.println add, then we have to call this operate method, that is abstract method, with the instance of that interface. So for adding, we have a add instance for this math operation interface. So add dot operate, and here we are passing the value a and b as 10 and 5. Then it should do the plus, right? A plus b, and here you will get a plus b, and then it will simply do the output. So the output for subtract, again a minus b, that's 10 minus 5, and for multiply same manner, and divide same manner, right? So so my idea was to show you how you can implement an functional interface abstract method by using a lambda expression. Okay. If you have multi like line of code in the expression, then of course you can go with the curly braces and then return statement and all. Otherwise you can use simply one line also. Yeah, so let me run this and let's see the output. So if we run this, then you can see the output in the first add is 15, subtract 5, multiply 10 into 5, and then okay, and then multiply 50, divide 2. Okay. So in this way I have tried to show you how the lambda expressions look like. Okay. Now, so like what happens behind the hood, actually the lambda expression, this one a comma b arrow a plus b, is converted to an instance, okay, of an functional interface, that is a math operation. So this will convert to an instance of the math operation, okay, add. So here we don't need to create a separate implementation class. Okay, so here we have not created a separate implementation class. It provide clear, shorter, and more readable code, right? So yeah, so here we have not created any separate class for addition, separate class for subtraction, separate class for multiplication, or any method, right? We have simply with the one line, by using a lambda expression, we have tried to perform these operations. All right. Yeah, so this is the one way where we can use the lambda expression to do our performance. Now, let's see the next question what he got. So why lambda expression were introduced? Okay, so like before Java 8, if you wanted to pass a behavior in a method as a method, okay, and as a parameter, then you had to use anonymous inner class. Okay, and I hope you know this, that like what is anonymous inner class. If you don't know, then like you can then like you can comment it out. I will try to create a lecture on the anonymous inner classes and all. Okay, yeah. So in Java 8, when the Lambda expression was introduced to support the functional programming and to simplify the code that use functional interface, that is, we already have the functional interface like runnable, whose abstract method is run, and we have a callable interface whose abstract method is call, and we have a comparator, right, compared to. So these are the already functional interfaces which are supported by lambda expression. So now if you have to implement a runnable interface, okay, yeah, so like if you have to implement a run method of a runnable interface, then you can use the lambda expression to implement it. In the same manner, the call method of the callable interface to implement, then you can use lambda expression. So basically this will simplify the code of functional interface. It will remove the boiler code. It will improve the readability. Okay, it will provide a better way to work with the functional interface and the connect and the collection. So these are the some points which you can remember and you can express in the interview if the interviewer asks you that why the lambda expression was introduced, right? So the next question, he got that what is a functional interface, because this question is somehow related to the previous one, right? So any interface which has exactly only one abstract method, so those kind of interfaces are known as functional interface. For example, we have a runnable, we have a callable, we have a comparator, functions, predicate, okay, supplier. So these are the functional interface, right? So you can use at the rate functional interface annotation in the interface, which makes and the compiler will check and validate that at a time of compiling for that particular interface only one abstract method should present, otherwise it will provide a compile time error. And okay, because at the rate functional interface annotation will remind or validate the compiler to check that only one abstract method has been used, right? Okay, so let's see some like benefit. Okay, so with the functional interface, it enables the lambda expression uses, because you can override the abstract method of functional interface with the help of lambda expression. Okay, so actually the functional interface simplifies the code. It brings it provides the less boiler code because there is no anonymous inner classes there and all. It helps with the stream api integration, because here you can use map, filter, for each. All these methods are of stream api where you can use the lambda expression, right? And it also enables behavior as data. You can pass the behavior method as a parameter now. And also it is work with the built-in interfaces like functions, predicate, and like supplier and all, right? Yeah, so this should be the helpful content for you to understand the functional interface. All right, so let me take you to the next question what he got. So the next question was, what is the difference between map and flat map? So this question is regarding the stream api. Okay, so this is again the one of the feature was introduced in java 8, the stream api. In the stream api, these are the methods which are used to to process the data which are stored in a collection. Okay, and also one more thing I have not mentioned here, but I believe that there may be some question you can got, like what is the difference between stream and collection? Okay, so basically streams are to process the data which are stored in a collection, and collection is a data structure where you can store the data. Okay. Yeah, so now this map and flat map is a function of stream API. So map method in Java stream API is used to transform each element of a stream into another object. Okay, so basically map is to transform the data. Let's say that you have some list of yeah, so list of a string which is in a small case, okay, stored in a small case. Now you want to transform all the string in that list into uppercase. Then you can use this map. Okay, you can use this map to iterate one by one, and then you can transform this all the strings present in that list from like lowercase to the uppercase. Yeah, so in this like in this scenario, it can be used to transform each element of a stream from one form to the another object. Okay, so purpose of the map is to transform or convert the data. So basically it like doesn't modify the original stream, but it creates a new stream. So when you use a map, it like does not work on the original stream. Basically it creates a copy and then it creates a new stream. Okay. Yeah, so basically it's create a new stream with a transform data. Now the flat map is also a method in a stream API, and it is used to transform and flatten a complex or nested data structure. For example, let's say you have a one class in which you have one list, and in that inside a list there is another list, but you want to get the data into the flatter manner. Okay, then in that case you can use the flat map. Okay, yeah, so like I will show you example in a code, and in this manner you will get a better understanding. So purpose of flat map is is when each element in the original stream need to be converted to a stream and then flattened into a single stream. Okay, basically if you have any data of list of a list and you want to flatten it, means you want to get the response in a single list, then you can use the flat map. Okay. Okay, so better let's go to our program and then let's understand this. Okay, so I have one example created for you. This is a one class map flat map example where we have man method, and here you see I have one list of names, let's say, and the content are like Ashish, John, and Mike. Now I want to transform, convert, and get the length of each item or each object in this particular list. So we can use the map for this, right? Simply, we will first transform this to a stream. So how we can do this? Name dot stream. This will convert this list to a stream, and then inside a stream we have a map method where we are passing as a parameter string reference length. This will it will take the each object in this list, and then it will take the length. Okay, it will find the length of it, and then we have a collect. Okay, this is the collect, and inside collect, in this you have a collectors dot tool list. So this is tool list is a method which will convert this stream, because as I told you, right, stream. So this dot map will again create a new stream. So to collect this stream you have to use collect, and inside the parameter collector dot tool list will convert this stream to a list again, right? And in this manner you will get a list of items with the length of it. Okay, and then you can do SOP, and then here it will get stored into a name length, and this name length will contain the list. In this list you will have the all the length of the objects. All right, so this is the map is used to transform the data from one form to another form. It can be anything, right? Here you can use uppercase, lowercase, length, or n number of operations you can use it, which are supported by this map, right? Now let's see an example of a flat map. Let's say a scenario where you have a list. Okay, array.as list content. In this every object is again a list. So this is an array. In this array again we have objects, and this every object contains again array, right? The first object content in the index 0, it content an array with the apple, banana, and the first index content again an array, orange and mango, and the second index again contain grapes and papaya. Now I want to transform and flatter the response to get into a single list. In this scenarios, you can go with a flat map. In this, how you can perform this? So this is a list, right? List of list. So this is a list basically. List dot stream. This will convert your list to a stream, and then inside stream we have a flat map method, and then list slash stream dot collect. Yeah, so this is the syntax for using a flat map. Simple. Okay, and then you have to collect it, and then collector dot tool list will convert again this stream to a tool list. So basically what it will do, it will flatter, or it will move all the items to a single list, and then you will get output something like this. Okay, so let me run this, and then we will see the output in real time. Okay, so here you can see we got the output now. Okay, in the first case we got only the length of the each object present in this map, and in the second output we are using the flat map. So we have actually like flatten the response, so all the objects we are getting into a single list, like apple, banana, grapes, mango, okay, papaya, right? Yeah, so this is the use of a flat map. Okay, so yeah, so like I hope you got the idea how to use the flat map and the map. And this is very important question. Actually, I have seen in the n number of like interview, this question comes up because interviewer are more eager to know whether you know these methods of a stream API or not, because this map is used everywhere in your like live project, and these flat maps are also used. Okay, yeah, so this is very important question. Yeah, so like I hope you got the whole idea and the concept about this map and the flat map method. Okay, so next he got some like like the coding question. Okay, so mostly he got 3 to 4 coding questions. So I believe four like coding questions were there in the second round in HCL. So he shared me some like three questions, because the fourth one he was not remembering much. So he shared me the three questions. Okay, so I will try to discuss all these questions with you. So he got question how to write a Java code to reserve each to reverse each word in a sentence using Java 8. So again, so interviewer want to know this concept by writing that whether you know these by using the Java 8 stream API methods or not. So this is very important. Means if you put any other logic like for each and all, so he told me that interviewer was not much interested. But of course, there is n number of way to do it. But for this particular interview, he was more like interviewer was more eager to know about that whether the candidate have the knowledge about Java 8 or not. Okay, so in this let's say that I have one string Java 8 is awesome, something like that in a input string. Okay, so how to reverse each word, okay, in a sentence using Java 8? So how you can do this? Basically for that you have array.stream, right? So arrays.stream will basically convert your array to a stream, and again in this I am passing input.split, and then we are putting a double quote. So what it will do, it will convert, basically it will split from the space, and then it will store like as an array, like as in Java as in first index, 8 as in second index, is as in third index, awesome as in fourth index. Okay, so all this word will get divided and then store in an array. Now in an array it is already a stream, so now they are using a map, word array new string builder word dot reverse. So they are creating a string builder. You can create a new string builder object, and in the string builder we have a reverse method already, where you can pass in the constructor of the string builder you can pass this word. Okay, okay, and this word is like every element will go in this, it will iterate one by one, and then and then it will, with the use of reverse method, it will reverse it, and then you have to collect it. Okay, by joining a decorator, means it will provide a space and then it will join it, right? So in this manner you can perform this. So basically what you have used here, you have used the map, also you have used the collectors, and also you have transformed this array, I mean this simple string, to an array using a stream API, right? So yeah, so these are the concern things which the interviewer wants to know. Okay, so let me see, means let me see if I have any code written for this. and then I will try to run you and then show you the output for this. uh, okay, yeah, so I have this. Yeah, so this is the real code. Let me run this, and then we will see the output. Okay, so you can see the output of this as all the words are reversed now. So what we did, we convert this string to an array, and we have taken with the like a space. Okay, wherever space was there, uh, b- it actually like breaks this string and store it in an array, and now we use the map to convert it, and then we are passing all the array object to a string builder, where we have a method reverse, which is reversing all the content of that particular object, and then we are then collecting it and joining with a like this. Okay, yeah, so in this manner we were able to achieve this. Yeah, so this is the explanation he provided. Okay, now the next question was again the coding question: to count a frequency of word in a sentence using a java 8. So again with the like with the java 8 only he has to solve this problem. So again this is a sentence like java is java again java. Okay, these are some sentence string he provided. So we have to count the frequency. So let's say here you can see that java is repeated two times, is repeated only one, again is one, and java is three times basically. Okay, so how to do this? Again you have to convert this string and break this words to a array. So for the array dot stream sentence split again, and map converting to a lower case, because we have to do this means you can format into the any case, so we are using the lower case, and then dot collect. And in this collector dot grouping by, there is another method in the collectors class. So that is a grouping by. So grouping by will group all the similar kind of words into one, and then here like w arrow w collectors dot counting, this will count. Okay, this will count the words basically. So here we will get the output something like this, again equals to 1, because here we use grouping by, so it will group, it will try to group all the similar words or the duplicated words. Like java it got three time, and so he will so it will count it internally. So here we are using the stream api methods to achieve this, right? Anyhow you can achieve this by using your any logic, but in this particular interview, if you are giving interview for the java 8, then these functions should know that with these functions only you have to achieve it, right? And then java is 3 and is 1. Okay, so I hope you got the answer. Now the next question was asked: find the duplicate element in a list using java 8. So here you see you have a list of items in which 1 2 3 2 4 3 5. So here by seeing you can see that 2 and 3 is getting repeated. Okay, so this is the duplicate element in this list, so you have to find out the duplicate elements. So again as I told you, to convert this to a stream, list dot stream, and then you have a collect, then collector dot grouping by, again because you have to group it with the duplicate elements, right? Earlier also we use grouping by, here also we will use grouping by, collectors dot grouping by, and then we will count it, collectors dot counting dot entry set. So we will convert this to entry set and then stream, and then we will try to filter it. And while filtering, what we will check, if the count value is greater than 1, then it means it is duplicated. So dot filter, and then e dot get value, we will get the value from this entry set. Okay, so entry set will contain the key and value, so we will get the value. So key will be like 1 and the 1 will be like 1. 2 will be 2, key as a 2 and the value as 2, because 2 time it is repeating, right? The counting is 2. So yeah, similar manner, if the counting value, if the value is greater than 1, it means it is duplicated. So in this manner, again map dot entry and then collect two set. So it converted to the set again, so that the duplication will be removed. So here we are getting 2 and 3, 2 comma 3. Yeah, so this is a very interesting and important question. In this, so much methods of the stream api is used. So I believe this is very important question for n number of companies who is checking for java 8 knowledge. Okay, so this is very important. Okay, I hope you got the answer for this. Now let's see the another question. He got some questions regarding the microservice. Basically, he got like what is monolithic architecture. So basically, a monolithic architecture is nothing but an monolithic application is application where all the components are into a single unified unit. For example, you have a UI, you have a business logic, you have a data access layer. Okay, so all these component UI, data access layer, business logic, service layer, all these are into a single unit, and this single unit also is only get deployed further to any server, or you run this single unit. So that is a monolithic application, right? So for example, a larger e-commerce application where all the features like a product catalog, user management, payment, and all other order processing are tightly coupled and are embedded into a single unit, and as a deployment it goes as a single var or a jar. So that kind of like architecture are called as a monolithic application. So in this application all the components are a single unit. Okay, so next question. Okay, so let me tell you that what problems it face. Okay, so yeah, so there are certain points you also have to check in internet that okay, and with this monolithic architecture you can check that what is the advantage of using monolithic, and also you can check what is the disadvantage of using monolithic. Of course, with the monolithic there were some disadvantage. That's why the next level of architecture come, that is a microservice. So he got the question that what is microservice architecture, or like have you used this micro yeah, so like he got also like have you used this microservice in your application. So a microservice architecture is a structure in an application as a collection of small loosely coupled service. Earlier we have seen that all the components are in a single unit, right? But now all those components, all the concern components will be individual application, or you can say a service basically. So all these services are called as a small microservice. So each responsibility of the specific business functionality will run independently and will be called as a service. So each service has its own code base, can use a different technology stacks, and of course if there are n number of services, then there can have to do a communication. So communication can be done by like rest or grpc or messaging and all. Okay, and can be developed, deployed, and scaled independently. So important advantage is using microservice that each service we can develop independently. We can have a different team for developing a particular service. Also it can be deployed independently, also it can be scaled independently. So that let's say that at the time of festival, where there is any like Flipkart sale is going on, so for a Flipkart application, if the purchase and purchase and the sections which are very like consumed by the customer, so that can be scaled independently, right? So we don't need to scale the whole application. So whatever component or the service or microservice is required to scale at the time of sale, then you can actually scale that particular component. Okay, so example for e-commerce, for user service, for user interaction you have a user service, my microservice differently. For product, for displaying the product items and all, you have a product service differently. For payments you have a payment service differently as a microservice. For order you have order service. And all these services can be deployed separately, can be communicated using rest api, or it can be gprc, or for data constant you can have a messaging queue, kafka, and all. So all these things are required for having a microservice architecture. So this way you have to explain. Okay, so the next question was like what is the difference between like monolithic and microservice. So guys, I will suggest you to stop this lecture here and then just take a note of this, because this is very important, and you can like refer it later. So okay, so like for monolithic, structure wise it is a single code base and deployable unit. For microservice, like many independent service are going on, right? As a deployment, the deployment is slower in the larger team due to tight coupling, because in monolithic the teams are tightly coupled, right? So deployment and sorry, the development can be slower because every component has to be taken by for by a particular team only. Okay, but in microservice we have a different component as a microservice, so individual team can handle different services. So the development can be more faster as a team because different team can work separately into the individual services. So technology stacks, usually one stack is used, either is Spring Boot or microservice. But in microservice technology, you can use Java, you can build with Python, you can build with Node.js, and you can use MongoDB, MySQL, and all. So there is no limitation of stack or the tech stacks which you can use in microservices. So like one service can be built with a different like tech stacks, and the other service can be built with a different tech stacks. At the end, all has to be get communicated using certain communication APIs, right? Again, the deployment for Monolithic, all the feature must be deployed together. But in microservice, you can deploy individually, right? Scaling the entire in Monolithic, the entire application can be scaled up as a single unit. But in microservice, as I told you, you can scale a particular microservice as per its requirement. Okay. Now the resilience, the for monolithic, failure in one part can crash the whole application, but in microservice it is not so. If one service is down, then of course you can, we have a certain like failure protections like circuit yeah, so like we have a circuit breaker and all, which will eventually like eliminate that all the system will get failure. So this is very like best approach of using microservice in such scenarios. Code maintainability becomes harder in monolithic architecture because as the features get added, the code will be get added to a single unit only. So code maintainability is very hard. But in microservice, it is easier to maintain and update the individual service because there may be chance that a that upgrade came to a particular service. So for that particular service only you have to do the testing and all. So whole service is not required to do the regression testing and other testing, JUnit testing and all, right? So for database, typically a single shared database is used in monolithic. But in microservice each service can have its own database. For example, for one service you can use MongoDB, for other service you can use MySQL, for other you can use Postgres. So it is yeah, so like you have the freedom to use n number of like database for your microservice. Now for testing in monolithic, it is easy to test, of course, in monolithic. And of course it is a little bit hard to test all the services, and also you have to test all the services with doing the communication and all. And I will say that in the logging also it is more easy to understand the logs if error comes in monolithic, but it is very hard to check the logs in microservices because there are n number of servers running one by one. So you have to go and you have to capture and check all the microservice, and you have to see the how the flow is going and all. So means it is very hard in microservice to understand the error by checking the logs, but in monolithic it is quite easy than like microservice. Now next is communication, so method call within the application, of course. But in microservice, as all the services are deployed to a different servers, then you have to opt for any communication API. It can be REST API, it can be gRPC, or any Kafka or any RabbitMQ and all, right? So DevOps like complexity is simpler in monolithic, but in microservice it is more complex because here the CI, CD, and all DevOps work should be done to the each microservices. Onboarding new development. Okay, so if we have a onboarding of a new developer in your team, then one code base to understand. But in microservice you have n number of services, so that developer need to understand all those services to put his input in the development part as a product, right? So use case, so best use case of monolithic is like medium sized application. Best use of microservice is a large, complex, and scalable system, right? So these are the some important points for monolithic and microservice which you can use in your interview. And if you provide all the points, I believe interviewer will get very impressed with you. So next question was, what is circuit breaker and why do you use it in microservice? So basically, a circuit breaker is a design pattern used in microservice architecture to prevent a repeated failure in a distributed system by gracefully handling service outage. So of course, if you're using a microservice where let's say 10 microservices are running in a server, now there is a high chance that at any time like one microservice can go down, and now you know that all microservices are communicating with one another to provide a particular response to a customer. So there may be high chance that if one microservice is down, then the it will make the other microservice also not work properly, right? So that's why a circuit breaker is useful to cut down the communication between the microservice which is down, so that the other microservice are not get impacted by the communication is done, right? So this is used to prevent the repeated failure in a distributed system, right? So yeah, so like let's say a real example, a real life example. Imagine you are flipping a light switch. If the power supply is faulty and you keep like flipping the switch, okay, it might cause a short circuit. To avoid this, what you will do, you can use a circuit breaker in a electrical system that breaks the circuit when there is a problem, and it will prevent further damage, right? So in the same manner, in your microservice, the circuit breaker pattern in microservice works in a similar way, kind of. It breaks the connection, like, okay, so it breaks the connection temporary to a failing service to avoid overwhelming it or to recover it. So it gives the time to recover it so that the other system should not get like block with the communication, right? So why do we use it in a microservice? So microservice are distributed system, okay, that talks to each other over network. So if service A depends on service B and service B is down or slow, the service A performs we will also like degrade, right? So possibly leading to a cascade failure across the system. That's why like circuit breaker is very important to be implemented in microservice. So that's why I will suggest you, if you are going with the interview session with the microservice knowledge, then you should check this circuit breaker also, right? So there are like some like problem with the circuit breaker, okay. So the problem is that repeated retries cause high latency, okay, and service wait for timeout is wasted, and also it lead to the system wide failure, and also it brings down the healthy services. Because to get a circuit breaker activation, there is some limit that this service should be called this much of time in this particular time period, then only the circuit breaker yeah. So like yeah, I mean that you need to provide the configuration in the XML file, okay. But also there is some like benefit of using a microservice, like it prevents the cascading, okay. Yeah, so like it prevents the cascading and all. It improves the response time, it enables the recovery attempt and all. It increase the resilience, it is a better user experience and all. Because so that's why the circuit breaker is very important. So to use a circuit breaker, you have certain libraries like resilience 4j, you have a history, okay, you have something like a spring cloud circuit breaker is also there. Yeah, so you can check any of this further, or like if you want me to create a lecture on circuit breaker with this technology, then you can comment it out. I will try to bring out a lecture on this topic also. So the next question we faced, how you ensure the fault tolerance in microservice? Okay, so this is very important. So to ensure a fault tolerance in microservice means that designing a system so that it continue to function properly even if some of the component fails. So you have to make your system design such a manner that if any of the things get fail, then your system should keep on working, okay. As a whole system, it should not get fail. If any part of yeah, so like if the any part of your system is getting fail, then as a whole system it should keep on working. So in a distributed system, failures are inevitable. We know that there can be network issues, there can be service crashes, there can be timeouts, etc. So fault tolerance microservice observe this failure and fail gracefully instead of bringing the entire system down. So actually, your system should not bring your whole system down, but it should means handle these failures gracefully. So for this, what we can use it for, this we have a circuit breaker. So there is a circuit breaker pattern you can use. You can use a retry mechanism, you can go with a timeout functionality, and there is a fallback mechanism also, where let's say that if some microservice is down, then you can add a fallback mechanism or a alternative means implementation, right? So there is a bulk head pattern, there is a load balancing. If there is a more load is coming, then you can balance it, distribute the loads to a different services or to different instances basically. So there is a service discovery and self healing. So like service discovering is nothing but means because let's say that you have a 10 number of microservices. For every service there is some url, right, or a path by which you access it. So you cannot hard code that, right? So in a real time, let's say that if you have a 3 instance for a particular microservice, then service discovery will check that which instance is live. If one instance is down, then it will automatically take the url of the second instance, and then it will keep it ready so that the other microservice can read it from that service discovery. Okay. And also there is health checks, asynchronous communication, and also like gracefully degradation. So like you can add this. So yeah, so like I hope you got this idea about the key concept of ensuring the fault tolerance and all, right? Yeah, so these are the some like interview questions he faced. And one more, there was one more interview, there was more questions related to the coding, which he forgot actually. Yeah, so I have added try to edit the 3 interview questions which he got in the second round. Yeah, so these questions were I think this will be helpful for you to for preparing the interview for the other companies also. Okay. Yeah, so thank you and have a nice day. We will see the more interview questions I will try to bring out for the different organizations. So till then, thank you and bye.